Hello, everyone. My name is Shira Edwards, and I'm a soon to be graduate studying healthcare administration. Today, I will be discussing how Saint Therese Lisieux shows us that communication is more than just words through what she calls her little way. She demonstrates that everyday actions, especially towards people we find difficult, can shape both our relationships and our character. Darling's main argument is that communication is not only about speaking well or persuading others. Instead, communication forms who we are through small, intentional acts of love practiced in daily life. One of the most powerful examples in the chapter is when Therese describes a nun who constantly irritated her. She even says that the sister had the faculty of displeasing me in everything. What stands out here is that the irritation was ongoing, not just a one time conflict. Naturally, the easier response would have been avoidance, distance, or quiet frustration. But instead of reacting negatively, Therese made a very intentional choice. She chose to smile at her sister, pray for her, and serve her kindly, even while struggling internally. This shows us something important. Real communication is often tested in difficult relationships, not easy ones. Teresa's little way focuses on ordinary, everyday actions. She emphasizes that love is lived out in what she calls the smallest action. And here is an example of different love languages that you can show people, different things that you can do that show people that you care about them. And one key insight from the chapter that Darling presented is that she sometimes acted lovingly before she actually felt loving. Over time, those repeated choices began to reshape her heart and her responses. That's just like once you start doing something repeatedly, it becomes a natural thing. And so this connected to bigger communication principles, what we repeatedly do begins to shape who we become, which is true. Because once you start doing something, it's kind of hard to stop. And that becomes a part of your identity. Communication in this sense is not just expression, it is formation. Our habits of kindness, patience, and care slowly build our character and influence our relationships as well. Darling then connects Teresa's example to modern social tensions, especially issues like immigration and cultural division. The chapter suggests that fear often causes people to create distance from those who feel unfamiliar and uncomfortable. Fear makes us pull back. Hospitality, however, moves in the opposite direction. It moves us towards others, especially those who are different or difficult. This does not mean ignoring real concerns, but it does challenge the tendency to immediately label people as outsiders. Instead, Therese's example invites us to respond first with human dignity and care. And as I read the chapter, everything she said was just based on us treating everybody as an equal. Because in God's eyes, well, as she said, Jesus' eyes, we are one. And we should not be treating people differently from the next person. And also within the church, pastors should also, as she said in the article, is that pastors should teach the congregation to be as one. And the sermons that they teach, that they study, should be sermons that relate to us sticking together. So, What does this mean for communication? Communication is practiced daily through love and action. As I showed on one of my previous slides, your actions show how you care about someone. And if you're showing that you don't care about them or their feelings or the way they do things, then they may react the same way, which isn't okay as well because you always are supposed to show kindness, but it's just a natural reflex when people are treating you a certain way, you feel like you should treat them back that way as well. So first, communication is not just about the words we say. Our facial expressions our facial expressions show the way we feel, the tone we have, our body language, and everyday behaviors are constantly communicating something to others. Secondly, meaning and relationships grow through repeated interaction over time. The small choices we make daily, especially in hard moments, shape both our identity and our communities. That's just like when you meet someone for the first time. The way you meet them is the way they're going to remember you. So if you show a bad impression the first moment you meet them, that's what they're going to get from you until you show them differently. And finally, caring for others is not separate from communication. It is a part of it. Showing that you care is a part of communication, as I said before. Your actions, the way you do things. An example, helping an older lady get her basket out of the store while she's struggling to hold the door open. You're showing compassion. So, caring for others is not separate, it is a part of it. Teresa's little way reminds us that love lived out in ordinary moments is powerful. In the end, what looks small is actually deeply transformative. Communication is not only something we express, it is something we practice every single day because every interaction you have with someone is a part of communication. And as I said, even through facial expressions, someone may be doing something that you don't like, and you make a certain facial expression and make them feel some type of way. And because that is the way that you're communicating with them as well. So, communication is very important and it is something we do through all our life and something we will be doing for the rest of our life. So always be careful how you communicate to people because your first impression is the impression they'll remember for the rest of their life. Thank you.